Hi everybody, Peter here from Triple G Comics. Welcome back. Really excited today. We've got a new kind of video for me, and this is where I'm meeting up with a fellow YouTuber, someone I met fairly recently, really. So let's get straight to it and let's get Efrain on. Hi Efrain.
Hey, how's it going, Peter?
How you doing, mate? Nice to see you again.
You too.
Me and Efrain, we met, is it a couple of weeks back now, Efrain, I think, on Rod the Ricans show?
Yeah, I'm trying to not think about that day that we met. Meeting you was great, but what I did, it was terrible. But go ahead.
Yeah, so we met on Rod's show, and if you haven't checked out Rod's content, please go away. We'll put the link in the bio and whatnot here. Rod is an absolutely tremendous guy. He does some brilliant shows. I don't know about you, Efrain, but he did a shout out for me very early on in my YouTube career, which was amazing. And then, of course, we joined in on his Lame or Frame show.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say we weren't the stars of the show.
If you like stick figures, yeah, I was great.
Yeah, yeah. I think drone's not my strong point, but it was a great fun show, and it was lovely because it gave us the opportunity to meet each other and make a bit of a connection. So if you're joining my channel from Efrain's channel, my name's Peter. I'm based in the UK. I'm in Newcastle, which is an area within the UK, and myself and Efrain just kind of caught up on Rod the Ricans channel and decided that it would be nice to do a bit of a catch-up with kind of my English take on comic collecting and Efrain's take on comic collecting from over where you are, which is California. Is that correct?
San Diego.
San Diego. Wow. I bet it's warm over there this time of year, is it?
Yeah, it's nice and sunny right now.
Yeah. So what we thought we'd do is we're hoping to potentially do a few shows like this, but because my viewers may not have met you before, Efrain, we thought we'd kind of start off with a bit of a getting to know you session. So chat a little bit about yourself. So I've prepared a few questions. So cool. Are you ready for the hot seat questions?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Excellent. So we'll just start off, Efrain. Would you just tell us a little bit about yourself and a bit about your background?
So as far as comic book collecting, I grew up in San Francisco Bay Area, and when I was a little kid, like about 10 years old, I would go to the corner liquor store, or no, I didn't buy any alcohol, or but they had those old school spindles with comic books in them, and I just that's where I got my first comic book. Obviously, I don't remember which was the first one because we're talking over 50 years ago. But I gravitated towards Marvel books. Yeah. And that's become a lifelong passion. I still collect Marvel books to this day as we speak. But I've also branched out. We talk behind the scenes. I'm into indie books a lot more now than I ever was before. I thought it would be Marvel and that'd be it. But no, I still read comic books. I collect them and I read them. Comic books, introduction to my videos, it's been a passion of my life, and it's basically never stopped. So I've been collecting for over 50 years now. Wow. Yeah, a long time.
You must have had some big keys in your time then. You must have picked off the shelf some of those big books that we talk about these days.
Yeah, my friends always make fun of me. They say I was there when Stan Lee first wrote his books. They first came out. Now I'm not that old, but I always say, gosh, if I could go back in time, I used to go to these comic book conventions in San Francisco, but they were like in hotel rooms or, hotel suites or offices, but they were just comic books. And I didn't think much about it. I didn't have that much money. I was a teenager. If I could have just grabbed more books that came out, even Amazing Fantasy 15 probably was less than $1,000 back then. Yeah. But I didn't have the money. So that's the one thing that I have regrets, that I didn't get the big books, but I didn't think about it. I was a kid. I was just enjoying myself. Yeah, enjoying reading them, I guess. Yeah, exactly.
And it's interesting. So back then, when you were kind of picking books up off the shelf, America is probably very different to how it was in the UK. I would imagine you guys had very ready access to comic books on the shelf.
Yeah, besides going to a liquor store, there were comic book stores down by my neighborhood. I used to go there like every Wednesday and just pick out new books. And they were costing like 20 cents, 25 cents, nothing to what is available right now, like over $3-5, So yeah, it was available wherever I wanted to,
So, back in the UK, we used to get the UK reprint versions, which were the bigger format comics to you guys.
Okay.
So a lot of the American books. So, for example, one of my first comic introductions really was the Secret Wars series, but it was in the UK version of that book. To get a proper American comic book was quite challenging. So your news agents, which I guess would be your liquor stores, used to have a pile of comics that they would get sent in, but it was very random. So it would be very rare that you would get a subsequent issue the next month. They just got whatever they had, you know. So I certainly don't remember any comic shops back when I first started collecting. It was very much kind of hit and miss, really.
Wow. So does that mean you wouldn't get books every Wednesday?
No, absolutely not.
Wow.
No. And I guess part of that was good because it forced you to read other things, because you literally only had what they had at that point in time. So I remember one of my first books was a Legion of Superheroes anniversary issue. Never had any interest in that book, but it was literally all that was in the newsagents at the time. So that's what I read, you know. But yeah, very, very, very jealous of you guys having such access to comic books. And that kind of brings us on to the next thing. You mentioned there comic conventions. And I know, again, from talking earlier, you've been to some big cons really in your time, haven't you?
Yeah. Like I said, I lived in San Francisco my whole life. I moved to San Diego back in like 1993. Before that, I had never heard of San Diego Comic-Con. You know, I'm sure it was out there, but, you know, there was pre-internet, so I just didn't hear about it, you know. So I moved in 1992, I moved to San Diego, but I just missed the Comic-Con. So in 93, I went to the first one with my cousin, Momo Comics 80. I always mention him. He was 13 years old when we first went. Wow. And like I said, he's grown up now. Obviously, he has his own kids, and now they come down for Comic-Con. But we basically just walked in the doors. You know, the doors to the convention center. We opened up the doors and we just stopped in our tracks. We were like in a church, and we was like, wow, what the heck is this world? And we bought our badges right there. We didn't have to get online, or there was nothing, you know, are you going to get your badges? Or are you going to not get your badges? We just walked in, got our badges, and went on our way for 4 days, 4 great days.
I don't think it's like that now, Efrain.
No.
I don't think you can get it like that now.
That's bygone era for sure. Yeah.
But that must be an incredible experience. I mean, I've always wanted to go to San Diego Comic-Con, and it, like you say, it is almost, for many of us who love comic books, it's almost a religious experience, I would imagine, going through those doors. And
we stopped in our tracks, like we almost went on my knees, and, you know, that sign of the cross, you know, like what the heck, you know, it's like, wow, like lights were shining down on us, you know. It's like, dang, man, what kind of world is this? You know, I just collect comic books. Never went to a convention before, you know, big ones. Like I said, I went to small little people selling books in San Francisco, but this was a whole new ball game. Yeah. And I've been going ever since. I've been going for over 30 years now.
So you must have met some big creators there. And have you ever met any of the big names? Someone like Stan Lee. Have you ever met Stan?
I met Stan Lee. You read my mind. I'll send you a picture so you can put it on your video too. Yeah. So he was obviously, this was back in 1993. He was walking towards me, and you know, I was walking to him, and I just went, "Hey, you're Stan Lee." And he goes, "Yes, I am." And, you know, I just took a picture of him. I have that picture. My cousin took that picture, and I kept it all these years. And years later, I had him sign it, you know, the picture. But when I got him signed, like I got it signed by him about 10 years ago, I kept the picture. That signature cost me $100.
Really?
Yes. Wow. And I just wanted it. I knew it was $100. I go, screw it. I want his signature on this picture. He took a look at it and he went, "Wow, we were both younger." I go, "Yes, we were."
It's one of my big regrets that I would have loved to have met Stan Lee. I mean, obviously he's a personal hero of mine, as he is from many comic collectors, I think. And I've got a lot of signed Stan Lee memorabilia and books and things. But for a number of years, I wanted to go and personally get something signed by him. And I wanted him to sign something that he'd personally be involved with writing. So, you know, how he did end up signing quite a lot of stuff that really he didn't have much of a connection to.
Yes.
So I wanted something. So I got an early issue of Avengers, and he was scheduled to do a signing event that I thought, great, I'll get that, you know. But unfortunately, it just never happened. So, bit of a shame, but, you know, incredible memories for you there, I guess, meeting someone like Stan Lee.
Speaking of Stan Lee, I have another story that I met. I kind of met Jack Kirby once. So I kind of
you're dropping names here, man.
I kind of met him So I was a kid in San Francisco. I went to this hotel where there was a, like I said, convention, and I was about maybe 14 years old ish. And I was outside the hotel, and I was just standing there outside the hotel. And all of a sudden I looked over my shoulder, and it was Jack Kirby just there talking to somebody. He was smoking his cigar like he always did. I was awestruck. All I did was stare at him. I didn't have enough nerve to go up to him and say hi. Yeah. To this day, I went, dang it. You know, why didn't I just go? I was a kid. Like I said, I was just like, wow, Jack Kirby right there. And I didn't find out until later on. He was such a nice person. He would talk to everybody. Yeah. I read that he would let people inside his house, basic strangers, kids that wanted to talk about comic books. I went, dang it. I mean, that was my one chance. So like I said, I kind of met him. So
yeah, kind of. Yeah. You see, that shows the difference straight away between me and you, Efrain. You know, you've got big names like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. The best I've got is someone called Timmy Mallet, who you guys will have never heard of. He's nothing to do with comics. I'll put an image up. Children's entertainer. That's about as famous as I've ever got. You've got Stan Lee in your back pocket. That's a
now when I go to comic book conventions, if I see somebody and if I know them, like J. Scott Campbell, I've seen a couple times. You know, I've gone up to him. I've seen Todd Knock, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld. I can talk to anybody. Yeah, you know, I just say hi. My name is Efrain. I know they're not going to remember me, but I say I'm a big fan. You've been, you know, a big influence of my life reading comic books. I don't stop to talk. I mean, when I see somebody, if I recognize them, I will talk to them. No, I'm not going to do the Jack Kirby thing again, ever again.
It's an opportunity. Yeah. We've got a convention called Thought Bubble coming up in the next couple of months, and James Tinian's going to be at that.
Okay.
So I've got a pile of books that I'm hoping to get him signed. So I'm hoping to meet him. So hopefully in a few months I'll have a better story than Timmy Mallet. I'll be able to come back and tell you about meeting James Tinian.
When you're on my channel, you'll be on there before that. So we'll talk about it later on.
Just talking about comic books, Efrain, then I've got a list of questions here for you. So the way I've split it is I've got some comic book questions.
Okay.
And I've got some movie TV questions because one of my big passions alongside comic books is movies. I love Marvel movies. I love movies in general. And a lot of the stuff I like as well is 80s cartoons and that kind of nostalgia feel. So I've got a few questions about that later on. If I think about comic books, tell us a little bit about your favorite characters. So out of all the characters that are out there, which ones are your kind of go-to characters for knowing that you're going to get a good read?
I mean, there's always, you know, everybody always gravitates to Wolverine, Spider-Man, all the, you know, top tier superheroes, Batman, you know, Wonder Woman. I've always liked heroes that I think if superheroes were in real, I could be one of them. I mean, at the beginning, you know, I was gravitated towards Daredevil. You know, the Man Without Fear was just, he just had heightened senses, but I mean, another one that I still enjoy. I wish they would have him more in comic books now is Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Because he's just a normal guy with a bow and arrow, man. You know, and he just fights against, you know, all these villains. And there was this one issue of Avengers. He was like the last Avenger standing. It was against the Collector back in the 70s, I believe. And he had beaten all the Avengers. And Hawkeye was being basically crushed by steel. And he was lying on the ground. He had one last shot, and he shot his arrow and it ricocheted off a bunch of stuff on the Collector's room or whatever, and it bounced and it hit him and it knocked him out conscious. Yeah. You know, he was like the last Avenger, and he beat him. So I always gravitate towards those types of heroes more.
Hawkeye is a really interesting one because he's not a character I've never really wanted to go and pick up a book purely about Hawkeye. I did enjoy the was it the Matt Fraction series a while ago? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah, that was very good. But over in the UK here, I don't know if you guys have a similar thing. There's a kind of a monthly graphic novel club where each month you get a random graphic novel sent through. And one of the ones that came through recently was Old Man Hawkeye.
Oh, yes.
My God, what a fantastic series that was. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And it encourages us to try and go and pick up the rest of the story from it, you know? But that was a really good Hawkeye story. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah, and he was blind.
Yeah.
That's great.
And still kicking ass, wasn't he? So, best publisher, Efrain. If you could only have one comic book publisher, which would you go with?
If I had to read one comic book, it would be Marvel.
Marvel?
Yes, I mean, I think because, like I said, when I started, it was Marvel. I mean, and I have just decades of reading their books. But I mean, Marvel would be my number one choice. But my second choice would be I'm trying to blank who draws We Live. I mean, who's the publisher for We Live? Is that Boom Studios?
I can't remember. Is it Aftershock?
I think it may be Aftershock, but I really enjoy their books, you know, all because of We Live, you know, stuff like that. But I mean, all these indie books, Boom Studios, Aftershock, even Image to a point, you know, they come in second now. But Marvel would always be in my heart. You know, I just
even current Marvel.
That's a good question. Gosh, no. Okay, you got me there. Not current Marvel. I'm talking about Marvel like from the 70s and 80s, stuff like that, when I first started. You're right.
Because that's really interesting, because I find that I enjoy stuff from 80s, 90s, maybe some of the earlier stuff, but the current Marvel stuff. Saying that, mind, I don't know if you've picked up Dark Days. Have you picked up issue 1 or 2 of that?
I've read the first issues, yes.
Yeah, I quite like that. I was quite happy. I tend to prefer the Marvel stuff and the DC stuff when they go down this kind of what if or Elseworlds kind of route. You know, I find that a bit more interesting, I think.
Yeah, I've read Syndicate Crime by DC.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, if they were evil, I go, this is awesome. But it's just out of the norm.
Yeah. Thinking about all of your experience with comic books, is the one story arc that really jumps out? One, either a complete storyline or a particular run of a book that you always would go to as your kind of one of your favorite reads?
God, I was going to mention this on one of my lists that you said we're going to talk about books that I read right now. I don't know if you ever read this book. Let me find it here. This book came out, gosh, I don't know, like over 20 years ago, and I still read it from time. It came out in 1997. I don't know if you ever read it, but it's Camelot 3000.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh my gosh, Peter! Yeah. I have the complete series, and I still read it. It was such a great story.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, gosh, you know, the year 3000, the world is destructive aliens have unleashed an all-out assault on Earth, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, but they're saying when Earth is at its pearl, if I'm pronouncing that word right, King Arthur would come back.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, or they just made that part up.
No, so because I love Arthurian legend, okay. and that is it's supposed to be when it's at its greatest need, the king will rise again. And it's interesting, Efrain. I don't know if you've read it. If you read Once and Future,
you're reading my mind. That's one of my top books I was going to talk about, but yes, I'm reading that book.
I mean, that's a tremendous series.
Yes.
I think that's a great pick. I think Camelot 3000 is a superb story. For me, that's I don't want to say it's the same as, but you know when people talk about key books like Watchmen, as being these bits of work that stand the test of time. I think that particular book, Camelot, I think that's one of those books that should be on everybody's reading list to at least try and read and experience.
Yeah, it's a great book, and I read it from time to time. I just like the storyline. Yeah. I mean, the whole King Arthur and his Sir Lancelot, Guinevere, Merlin. I mean, it's like, gosh, this is such a great story. I would love to see him make a movie out of it. But it's been 30 years now almost. His books come out, you know?
Yeah.
So it was that's one of my favorite books.
So then, if we go to the flip side of that, is there a storyline that you've had high expectations of, or a creative run that you've had high expectations of, and you've been left a bit disappointed?
It's a recent book. I was really hyped about it. Crossover.
Yeah.
I bought a bunch of them. You know, I was just expecting, I would love to have seen Marvel crossover with it, or DC books, you know, those characters cross over, you know. So I'm still reading it, but I've lost a lot of interest in the book. But I still read it just to finish it, you know. But to me, I mean, it's, you know, props to anybody who can write a book, you know. But I was like, wow, I was expecting more.
Yeah.
You know?
I do think sometimes some of these books are hyped, a bit like the Marvel, some movies. They're hyped to such a level that we're just never going to achieve it, you know. I mean, using the next Spider-Man film as an example, we've talked, haven't we, about whether Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in it and all the rest of it. If they're not in it, you're already going to be disappointed in that movie, aren't you?
Yeah, it's going to be a disappointment.
Yeah. And I think for me, that's a bit how I felt with Crossover. I read the first few issues and it was just a bit, it's not a bad book.
No.
It's just underwhelming, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. We're on the same wavelength here, Efrain, I think.
I told you we connected. Thanks again, Rod.
So you've already told her about Jack Kirby's almost meeting and Stan Lee's meeting. And so they may be the examples you give, but have you got a particular memory of a real fanboy experience where you've come away from it thinking, wow, this is just amazing?
2 years ago, I was big into Marvel Shields of Agents, the TV show.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank on the lead actor, but the Colton. I met him.
Clark. Is it Clark?
Greg?
Clark. No. Greg Clark.
Greg Clark.
Yeah, something like that.
So we were at a hotel in San Diego. Oh, I got a better one than that. Sorry. I'm a big baseball fan. Okay, and we were in an elevator, and there was this baseball player. His wife is who plays the voice of Ahsoka, Ashley Eckstein. Mm-hmm. So she's always at San Diego Comic-Con, and she does like a fashion show. So I was getting in an elevator, and her husband came out, David Eckstein. Wow. And he used to play for the San Diego Padres. And I was like just fanboy crushing over him. I go, oh my God, you're David Eckstein. And he goes, yes, I am. And I go, I used to watch you play for the St. Louis Cardinals. I know who your wife is, Ashley Eckstein. You used to play for the Padres. And I just kind of fanned over him, and like he was there at Comic-Con for his wife. And, he was impressed that I knew him. So so I said hi to him. Like we talked for a couple minutes, and then I was leaving the hotel that same day. I was just walking out. He seen me coming across. He yelled out my name.
Wow.
So I was like, oh my God, you just made my day. It was kind of comic book related, but that was like my big fanboy crush.
Did you not say to him, did you not say, hang on a minute, do it again and I'll record it this time?
Yeah. I took pictures. I'll send you a picture of it. He was just a nice guy.
Fantastic.
I'm a big baseball fan, but I did meet Agent Coulson. It was the same scenario. He was just coming out of an elevator, and he just stopped. I go, oh my God, I'm a big fan. Of course, I forgot his name.
Yeah.
Can we get a picture? And he took a picture with me and my nephew. So
brilliant, amazing. Yeah. So, Efrain, quick yes or no? Slabbing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of money on it, so yes.
Yeah. There's this thing, isn't there, where I don't know, I guess you get it in any kind of pop culture where people are very keen to tell you how to collect and what you should and shouldn't be doing at times. But I've always been of the view that you do whatever works for you. Now, I slab comics. I have slabbed comics, but much like yourself, and I think that's probably one of the reasons, it sounds a bit soft, but one of the reasons I was kind of drawn to you and your content is that you are a collector, but you're also a reader. You're the kind of guy that actually still reads comics and enjoys the storylines. And I think that's really important.
Yeah. I mean, I read books every night. I read a book or three. I try to read at least 3 to 4 books a night. I set aside time, an hour, just to read books, just to catch up on them. I do have a lot of books, and I keep on saying I'm going to sell these books now because I just feel it's time. I just got to find the time, and I don't mind stuff. Years ago, I said, I'm never going to sell my books. I mean, once they're gone, they're gone. I don't have them anymore. But as I've gotten older, I go, you know what? I'm going to sell some of these books. And I have started. I just don't like packaging books and selling them. I just don't like doing that, But I do. I don't know if you heard of that Whatnot app here in the United States. I'm joined on that, and I've sold books on there once. I keep on saying I'm going to do it again. It's a really good app. But yeah, I mean, I plan to start selling some of my books. I just feel it's time.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
It's part of me.
Yeah, I mean, I know again we were talking a little bit earlier. I had a very large collection when I was younger, and I sold that collection because we needed the money at the time. We had children coming and things like that, and it's one of those things where I always look back and think, oh, could we have made do without selling, But hey ho, these things happen, I guess, don't they?
Oh, they do, yeah.
So, next question, Efrain. Just again, thinking about comic books, do you have a prized possession? Do you have one book in your collection? And it doesn't have to be the most valuable. Do you have one book that you look at and you think, yeah, that's my favorite item?
I have two of them, and they're the same book that's right behind you.
All right.
The Incredible Hulk ones.
Yeah.
I bought one. Gosh, it's been over probably 6-7 years since I bought it, and at the time I paid $500 for it. Wow. I went, dang it, there's a lot of money, you know. I got it signed and CGC'd, of course, and Herb Trimpe did a little remark on it, and he did a remark of Wolverine on it, and I got it signed by Stan Lee. And then the other one I got about 4 or 5 years ago. I won it on a raffle on Instagram for $30. So I got
your money back.
Yeah, so both of those, that's my prized possession. Both of those.
You'll have to send us some images of that. I'd love to see that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll send you the images. Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, Efrain. So, what 5 books are you currently reading that you would recommend to anybody that's watching this?
Okay, we kind of talked about the first one already. Once in Future. Yeah. I mean, before, obviously when you buy books, you order them on a monthly basis and they come 3 months in advance. So I read the synopsis of this book, has to do with a King Arthurian myth brought back from the dead, but they're evil. I go, I'm there. Yeah. It started reminding me of Camelot 3000. I go, I'm there. I'm going to start reading this book. I got a bunch of the covers, I've enjoyed it. It's kept my interest. To me, that's the most important thing. After you read the first couple of books, will it hold your interest? You're waiting in anticipation, so to speak, for the next book. And I really enjoy this book a lot.
Yeah. So that's a book that I love as well, as I already mentioned. And I only got into that fairly recently. So there's a YouTube channel called The Nerd Herd, which I don't know if you've heard of. Basically, that's a weekly comic book club. So each week they present a graphic novel, and it's always got to be a full story arc, and they do a review of it. So, and then they tell you the next week what they're going to be reading. So you buy the book, you read it, and that kind of a thing. And Once in Future was on that, and one of the guys, Scott, really was raving about it. So I picked up the first graphic novel when I was heading down to London on the train, and I just loved it. I mean, I absolutely loved it. So much so that I got off the train and I went and bought the next 2 graphic novels in the series. And then I got a bit obsessed with issue 1. So I think I've got about 4 different copies of issue 1 now, different variants and things. I just absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite series. Great pickup.
I just like the grandmother.
Oh, yeah.
God, I hope I'm that feisty and kick-ass when I'm that age. I'm like, dang, man, she's smoking a cigar and just like taking charge. I'm like, dang, she's kick-ass, Yeah. I really like that character.
It's interesting because it is kind of you talked about Camelot 3000 before then, about King Arthur and the way he's portrayed in that. Very different in Once in Future. Yeah. But a really engaging story, like you say. I love that pickup, Efrain. I think that's a brilliant, brilliant series.
My next one, I believe it's by Image Comics. It's called Philadelphia.
Right.
When it comes to vampires or zombies, I'm always there. And it was like Philadelphia. Okay, it's set in Philadelphia. Has to do with they show like the splash page at the very end. I think issue number 1 is John Adams. He's a vampire. I was like, oh my God, his wife's around. They're both evil. I think they just introduced the 3rd president, Thomas Jefferson. I mean, I was like, this is a great storyline. Is Philadelphia being overtaken by vampires, and there's this one cop. He's trying to save the city, and it just goes from there. I think it's a great storyline.
I've not read that one, so I've written it down. So I'll pick that up and see what it's like.
Okay. Let me see. Next one. Let me see which one is here. Oh, I talked about this character earlier, Daredevil, his recent run. So basically, he's in jail right now because Daredevil, I think it was considered manslaughter.
Right.
And he's been incarcerated, and Elektra has taken his place as the protector of Hell's Kitchen. So she's Daredevil now. He's, everybody's telling him, what are you doing? But he's wearing his mask, so they don't know that Matt Murdock is Daredevil. And he's incarcerated, and he's just staying in jail until his term is up.
All right.
But what I liked about it is this was all during the King in Black.
Yeah.
you know how I don't know if I don't know if you've been reading the full storyline, but Captain America, you know, he got turned into an evil entity. I forgot the names of the, because he couldn't take, you know, he just couldn't, get away from it. So he became, you know, evil. Yeah. The same thing happened to Daredevil, but his faith, you know, he fought against it and he came out. You know, he didn't let it overtake him. So he's the only character that I know of without, you know, superpowers or some kind of mystical magic like Doctor Strange, who didn't get taken by the King in Black.
Yeah.
So his mind and his faith, I think in the comic books and the movies, he's Catholic.
Yeah.
His faith is so strong that he fought against it. And he, you know, he didn't he wasn't overtaken by it.
Yeah. Was it nullified?
Nullified. Thank you. He wasn't nullified. Thank you. I was drawing a blank on that. See, he wasn't nullified. He was strong enough to not be consumed by Null. But Captain America was.
See, I haven't read Daredevil since. Did Mark Waid do a run on Daredevil a couple of years back?
I forgot when, but yeah, Mark Waid. That's a while ago, though.
Yeah, I've not read much Daredevil since then. Really, I have to pick it up. It's a good read.
It's a good read. It goes through his tribulations that he's still in jail, and Electro was saying, "You're a fool. Why don't you get out?" And he goes, "I can't." You know, he's a lawyer. He goes, "I can't. You know, I got convicted, so I'm going to stay in jail." And then Electro was so taken from what he did, she became Daredevil, and she's still Daredevil right now.
Yeah. So, just on a side note, then, what do you think of the Daredevil TV show?
Which one?
The Daredevil TV show that was on Netflix.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. You know, it was so great. I mean, now there's talking about the Spider-Man movie. He's supposed to come out.
Yeah.
Doesn't it's going to be disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was a tremendous show. Is it Charlie Cox? I think the guy.
Yeah, Charlie Cox. Yeah,
was amazing. Some of those, I remember watching a documentary on it. Some of those fight scenes where they've done them in one take. Like there's the one where he's going up the stairs. I think.
Oh my God!
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. That was a great series. I mean, I don't know if Disney's going to continue with the series or not. You know, they're going to have to. It can't be rated G.
Yeah.
You know, those are street level fighters. Punisher.
Yeah, that was brilliant as well. And I hope they do. I hope they stick with those character actors as well, because they made good TV. You know, they made good shows. So fingers crossed.
Yep.
So what's your next book?
Okay, I don't know if you ever heard of this one. It's by Aftershock. It's called Project PATRON. So
that one.
This one, hang on, I got a bunch of pop-ups here. So basically, there was this one superhero who he wasn't from Earth, but he would like Earth's protector. And 30 years ago, the world watched as he fought another being, and he died.
Right.
Okay. So, but the people of the world, the governments of the world, didn't want people to know that he had died. So they built like a Reploid of him.
Right.
And it's plotted by an elite team of 5 people. Okay. Each of them, when he's needed for a certain task, one person takes off. But the caveat is whoever uses him, you know, like all electronics, you know, he's out there, but they're, you know, connected to him. Their life is cut short.
Oh, right.
So they're giving up their lives basically so they could keep up this, you know, facade that he's still around. So one of the characters dies because there's something happens to them, you know, something happens to them. I forgot exactly what it was. But like I said, the first book, they showed that he had died because he fought this creature, and they thought this creature comes back. He didn't die, that his enemy. And now these 5 people are saying, what are we going to do? You know, because they're going to be fighting against somebody that already killed him once, so to speak. So it's called Project PATRON, PATRON.
That sounds really interesting. I like the idea of that. It sounds, the whole kind of using the superpowers until they die sounds like an old series from Marvel, Strikeforce.
Oh my gosh, I have those books.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I go through my collections every now and then to see if I have everything in order, and I go, gosh, I remember this book. They would die. They had powers for 1 year.
That's right, 1 year.
Yeah, it does.
And again, it's a tremendous series that well worth picking up.
Yeah, so it's really, I really enjoy the storyline because, like I said, it's different. And like, you know, we talked earlier, man, as much as I enjoy Marvel, it will always be in my heart. These indie books now, I go, God, I'm glad we're able to read them now. Because I don't think, in the past, I don't think they would be published.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think we're in a very lucky age of comic collecting, really, aren't we? Where people can get really quite challenging books published. And I think it's, you know, back in the day, it was purely Marvel DC, really. But now you can get some of these independent publishers who are pushing out some tremendous content, really.
Yeah. So I have one more.
Yeah.
And I think this company is ending, right? I think I read Bad Idea. They're going to stop, right?
Well, yeah. So they announced that Bad Idea would end, but yes. I don't know if it's more of a PR thing or not. I'm not really sure what they're doing.
So I started reading this book. When it comes to me, if it comes to like King Arthur type books, like we read before, or vampire, zombies, another thing that grabs me all the time is dinosaurs. I started reading Tankers.
Yeah, I've got that. I love it.
Oh my gosh, you know, they go in the past. This corporation goes in the past to basically I'm kind of trying on the premise of it. They're, you know, the world's running out of oil.
Yeah.
So they go in the past to avert a comet. Is that what it was about? Right?
Yeah.
And this comet was supposed to destroy all the dinosaurs, but it didn't. And then they come back to the future. They come back to their own time, and you know it's going to be a big problem because dinosaurs have evolved. They become smarter, and it goes from there. I'm going, this is a great storyline. Yeah. People never learn.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, Bad Idea have got some really interesting books out there, but they have a very strange kind of marketing plan, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking, who the CEO or whoever is. I mean, I love this. I loved ENIAC from them too.
Yeah.
You know? And I just hope they hang around because, like I said, I like reading these types of books, you know. But I'm sure whoever writes these books, the writers for these books, now that there's other indie companies around, they may, besides Bad Idea, they can, you know, publish it with other publishers.
Tremendous. Some brilliant picks there, Efrain. Thank you very much for that. So, before we move into the next bit about movies and TVs and things like that, and your take on that, I know we've learned a little bit about you, but I'm kind of wondering what prompted you to start your YouTube channel. Why did you decide that you wanted to do YouTube?
I always tell people to look at my very first videos because they're so terrible. I should do them like one every 6 months, you know, and there was no lighting. It was just me and my iPhone and just showing books. I wouldn't even want to show my face because I was too self-conscious. You know, I just screwed. If anybody wants to see me, you know, go ahead. I don't care anymore. Last year, I was talking again to my cousin. I was telling him, you know what? I'm going to give my YouTube channel I'm going to give it a go. I just want to see what I can do. Comic books have just been a passion of my life. And this comes all from the heart. You know, one person sees it. You know, I'm always grateful, or 100 people, whomever sees our channels, to me is like, wow, you know, I just appreciate it. It's just a passion of my life. And it's just another outlet of me besides just reading books. You know, I really like talking about comic books, you know, and I found, you know, you, Peter, on, you know, Instagram, you know, social media, and, you know, we became friends, and that's part of it too. You're just meeting different people all over the world, so to speak, you know?
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Efrain. I think it's, you know, it's, again, this, I don't know if this is a difference from the UK to America, but when I started reading comics, comic books weren't cool. You were hard pressed sometimes to find people to talk about comic books, and I think over the last few years that's changed, and that's what things like this have done. And you know, the internet and Facebook and YouTube have allowed people to actually talk about what they're passionate about, and really find people. I mean, people watching this, Efrain doesn't know the questions I've been asking. I didn't send Efrain the questions.
Not at all.
And you already see that we're already on the same wavelength on a lot of things, you know, read the same book. And it's genuinely nice to talk to people who actually have the same views and passion as you. So yeah. I would also just at this point say that obviously, Efrain, when we first met, I went back and looked at some of your back catalogue of videos and watched them, and it's tremendous. So I would really encourage everybody to go and pick up on some of your older videos because it's great stuff.
Yeah.
So moving on from comic books, one of my other big passions is cinema, TV, cartoons, all that kind of stuff. So I guess I'm kind of interested in where you are at with that. So, favorite TV show growing up?
Oh my gosh. The Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno and the $6 Million Man.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Just that noise when he was running.
That Lee Majors?
Lee Majors, yes.
Yeah.
And I also like The Bionic Woman with Lindsay Wagner. Those
Yeah.
are my two favorite shows. And then The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
With Lou Ferrigno. It was so cheesy now that I look back on it, but it was just like, wow, just a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite shows as a kid.
I mean, that show really introduced a generation to comic book characters, I suppose. I remember watching that back in the day and just being absolutely taken back by it. It was, and you're right, it doesn't, let's be honest, it doesn't play well if you want to switch it on now. It is dated, I guess, for its time.
Yeah.
But superb show. Show. How about now? What's your go-to show now?
See, when I watch a show, sometimes people lose interest on the show and they don't watch it anymore. I still watch The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I was into it from the beginning, and I'm still watching it even now to the last season. I'm basically, all my family, maybe one or two of them still watch it. It went on for such a long time. It's been going on for over 10 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as that, that show still grabs me. And I like watching Fear the Walking Dead. Anything to do with The Walking Dead, I still watch. I've always
I haven't picked up on Fear of the Walking Dead, but Walking Dead's moved over to Disney Plus over here, so I haven't watched any of the last series yet. But I still watch Walking Dead, and I don't know if it's one of those things where I just feel I've got to watch it now. A bit like, do you remember Lost?
Yeah,
I watched the end of Lost, and I don't know why.
Do you remember Heroes?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
God,
the first series was tremendous, but then
the first season, I was like, "Gosh, what are you guys doing?"
Yeah,
but I watched it to the end.
Yeah. But yeah, Walking Dead's a good, and it is ending, I think, with this season, isn't it?
The last season. Yeah.
Last movie you saw?
Oh my gosh, since COVID hit, I rented Black Widow on Disney Plus.
Okay.
So yeah, I haven't
seen that.
It was good. I like the way it ended. It ended her storyline. So I like the. Yeah, I mean, it was just okay to me. Nothing. I like the ending, the extra scene at the end when they showed her sister and the Contessa, and they showed a picture of a Hawkeye. This is who killed your sister, which is not true. So, but yeah, I liked it.
I thought that character was superb. I forget her name. Is it Helena? The sister, I can't remember her name.
Yeah,
but I thought she was tremendous in it, and I think much like you, I wouldn't say I loved it. I wouldn't say I hated it. It was just kind of middle of the road.
Yeah.
I think the wasted Taskmaster mind. I would like to have seen a bit more.
Yeah, I think the wasted. I think I would have liked the movie more if it would have come out when it was supposed to come out.
Yeah, I agree.
COVID hit and everything just got delayed. But I enjoyed the movie. So it was good.
So, best Marvel movie so far?
Oh my gosh, dude, okay, I got one. To me, it was Captain America: Winter Soldier. That is just Bucky coming back, and just Black Widow was in that movie. I think Falcon was in that movie, or was he?
Yeah,
he was. That's when he met Falcon. Yeah. So that was my favorite one.
I mean, I think that's probably my favorite. I have to say, I love Civil War as well, but I think Winter Soldier for me sells it at that very first scene on the boat where he's jumping out into the water underneath and everything, and he fights Batroc. I just think it's tremendous movie, tremendous. Okay, this is a tougher one.
Okay,
best DC movie. You've not got much choice there, I'm afraid.
Yikes! God, I don't see too. Okay, the first Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
Okay, the only thing I don't like about that movie, and I've told other people, is when there's a Marvel movie, when somebody gets hurt, they show blood, they show themselves getting dirty. Wonder Woman was clean the whole movie.
Yeah.
She would get tousled around and beat up and hit, and I go, wow, man. I go, no, nothing on her. Come on, that's not real. But that's the only thing that bugged me about the movie.
Did you catch the second one?
I did, and it was okay. When she lost her god, something happened to her. I forgot exactly, but when she was getting beat up, I think she lost her status as Wonder Woman or something, and she was getting beat up, and they showed her face getting bloodied up, which I liked. Yeah, it just showed her more realism. But overall, I give the movie about a C.
Yeah. Have you been watching What If?
Oh yes, I just finished it.
So best episode?
Best episode was, to me, the last two.
Yeah.
I mean, when the Watcher, started intervening, and they got all those characters from different parts of the show. They brought them in to fight.
Yeah.
I was going to say something about that. Now I'm drawing a blank. Oh yeah, you notice that all these What If series, each series, each show lasts about 30 minutes, and you think, 30 minutes, it basically tells the whole story. These Marvel movies last about 3 hours.
Yeah.
You think they probably could tell the whole story in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. These movies are so long. But yeah, I like the last two.
I thought it was a tremendous series. I think it had some ups and downs. And I'm interested in your views. I did a show earlier in the week on a guy called Ben, the Attention Seeking Geek. Really good channel. So go and check that out. And he did a live show about What If. And I was really surprised. So I'm a big Thor guy. That's my favorite character. Always has been. Love my Thor character. And I hated the episode of What If with Party Thor. I couldn't stand it. But surprised, I just assumed people would be of the similar mind. But some people were telling me that it was the favorite episode. I mean, where do you stand on that episode?
Yeah, I liked the episode, but I just think it went a little bit over the top. He was just too much. I don't know. He reminded me a little bit of Hercules when he, like more of a party god. But even at the end of What If, he was still like when he shouted out "Viva Las Vegas" or whatever he said. I was like, and then Ultron goes, "Vegas? What's that?" I like the way they brought back what's his name from Captain America, the Nazi in the video.
Armanzilla?
Yeah, Zola. I like the way they brought him back. That was a good touch.
Yeah, we were saying we would have loved it if they'd managed to get James Spader for the voice of Ultron.
Oh yeah, I know.
That would, because I think he's a tremendous.
Yeah, that would have been true. Yeah.
Right then, so we're nearly at the end. So, Star Trek or Star Wars?
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go with Star Trek because I grew up.
That's the right answer. Well done. Yeah.
I grew up with Star Trek. I was a kid watching it. So as much as I enjoy Star Wars, Star Trek to me is just the characters.
Yeah. I mean, nothing to take. I love Star Wars as well, but much like yourself, Star Trek, and for me particularly TNG. And I'm really enjoying. Have you watched Picard on Amazon?
Loved it.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
There's going to be season 2, right?
Yeah. He's going to be in it, so looking forward to that. Jonathan DeLance. No, not Jonathan DeLance. Is it Jonathan DeLance? Q.
Oh, John. He's going to be in it.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I love the trailer out there. Yeah, so it looks really good.
Oh, cool.
Okay, last question, Efrain, and it's a killer. And this really determines the kind of relationship we're going to have. Are you a tea drinker or a coffee drinker?
Oh, gosh. I hardly ever drink coffee. So I do drink tea more than I drink coffee. I try, don't make fun of me, but a lot of times I just drink Lipton tea.
Yeah.
But I try to find other flavors. I have to go to specific stores to find different flavors. I don't drink coffee at home.
Yeah.
So
excellent. That's all my questions, mate. So thank you very much for answering my questions. Really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit, Efrain. I think we are very much of like minds on a lot of topics, which is really good. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you again in the future. So before we call it a night, because we've been recording for a little while now, just tell anybody that's watching what you've got coming up in the future and the kind of things they can expect to find on your channel.
Actually, I'm gonna do a video right after this. I'm gonna show my commissions that I've gone throughout the years and what I got into them. I'm still trying to go to different comic book stores and just shoot inside their stores. I've been sending messages to different artists, seeing if they want to come on my YouTube channel. I've been sending messages. I know it's never going to happen, but the Rock, the actor.
Yeah.
I just been sending a message on Instagram. Hey, big fan. I've been watching you since I was a kid.
Aim high, Efrain. Aim high.
Dwayne
Johnson. He's not busy. He's not going to
he calls himself the people's champion. So I go, hey, I sent him like about 2 messages so far. Hey, I have a very small YouTube channel. If you're one, I want to come on it. I remember when one of his first shows was, I don't know if you've ever seen the series, that 70s show.
Yeah.
He was on there. He
Right.
portrayed his dad on that show. He was a wrestler, and I mentioned that. You know, I started watching Young Rock on NBC. So I send him messages every now and then. I know he's never going to reply, but I just send him messages.
I did recently. I was devastated. I was getting some books signed by Rob Liefeld.
Okay.
And one of my videos a while ago, I took that very famous New Mutants 87 cover. Do you know the one with all the faces in the circles?
Huh?
I took that and I edited it and put my face in different poses in all the circles, and I put my face on cable and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I printed it out and I wrote on it, "Dear Rob, big fan, blah, blah, blah. Thought you might get a kick out of this. Thanks very much." And I thought he might, you know, I put my YouTube channel on, I thought he might respond with a thank you, or he might put us on Instagram. Not a thing. Not a thing. I got nothing back. Oh, well, never mind. I tried.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, Efrain, we'll call it a day. We've been recording for a while now. I just want to say a massive thank you. Been really nice getting to know you, and I hope we'll get to do some more videos together in the future.
Yeah, I gotta have you on my channel, but you ask such good questions. I'm gonna start writing down my questions almost right after we're done here. But I'm gonna ask you some tough questions.
Excellent. Right. Well, thank you very much, and we'll say bye to everybody. So, thanks very much, Efrain. Take care now.
Take care.
Thank you.